Good morning, everyone. The Carnivore is in the house, driving to my mom's house. And, you know, I take care of my mom alongside with my brothers. You know, she's unfortunately really sick with dementia and Alzheimer's. And, you know, she's 82 years old. And it's tough. It's something where my family and I, we contemplate, we think, man, how could this have been avoided? People say, well, you know, it's genetic. It's just a ticking time bomb. That's all it is. And then when you really study diabetes itself, which my mom never had. She never had type 1 nor type 2. But the way how her eating habits were is like many immigrant Italians that were born in the 40s. My mom was born in 1944. So tail end of World War II, you know, there was a lot of famine in Italy. Then from there, they wanted to come to the U.S., but it was just a huge influx. So a segue to get here to the U.S. was to go to South America. So at that point, they migrated to Argentina. And, you know, they had my brothers there. And then after maybe 15, 16 years doing things the right way, they came here and they had me. Now, what I noticed growing up is that whenever that there would be problems, any altercations, my mom would always resort to food, right? My mom wasn't like 300 pounds or whatnot, but she would fluctuate, kind of like how I was. And whenever there were any issues, food would be the only outlet. And you could see the smile, you could see there was like a little bit of a euphoria. And it wasn't steaks, it was all homemade foods, you know. It was pasta, it was tomato sauce from scratch. Yes, we had some steaks and whatnot. And growing up, we didn't know what the best cut was. We had no idea. I didn't know what a ribeye tasted like and what it was until probably 2013. I was born in 1981 to have some sort of context. There's a lot of potholes here. All right, so dessert, lasagna, you name it, we grew up with it, and it was all made from scratch. Though as time went on, I would see the decline of my mom. But the wild part is because, you know, normally we all want to just blame it on food, on the sugars. My grandma, my mother's mom, also suffered from Alzheimer's and diabetes. A person who saw World War I and World War II. The common denominator here was flour. Did the entities that be start messing with the wheat back then too? Or is it a gene that is dormant, that becomes alive when you feed your body all of these carbohydrates, and it's your cells are just so inundated that it awakes a sleeping giant? Could it be? Maybe. Now, the deterioration of someone who was, sharp as a tack. That's why I always look at our older generations. And I've been looking at a lot of old Johnny Carson shows. And not because of the big guests, like Don Rickles, Sammy Davis Jr., none of those. There was a certain segment in Johnny Carson where, kudos to him, where he would bring out elderly individuals. Elderly, and I'm talking about 85, 90, 100. And they were on it. They would be singing songs on the show. Answers right away. George Burns, someone who everyone knows, even the new generation. Smoking cigars. And it's funny because Johnny Carson asked him, he said, how many cigars do you smoke a day? I think he said about like 7 or 10, like it was an exuberant number. And then Johnny Carson asked George Burns a very, very in-depth question. What does your doctor say about you smoking so many cigars? Mr. Burns, not the guy from The Simpsons, he said, my doctor's dead. What was going on? Now, all of these elderly individuals that were on his show, they all had something in common. They were all thin. All of them. What was the diet of George Burns? These prospectors, these oilers, what was it? Man, there was one in particular where the guest was about 96, and he's talking about his son that tends the fields. And believe it or not, the son was 82. What? God bless. That's what it's all about. Now, what I think is the key to this longevity of all of the elderly, including today. And yes, diet is important. Carnivore is important. But us as lion dieters and people that are on carnivore, we can't just limit ourselves and say, carnivore is the answer, it's over. There's more to it. I think carnivore is a great channel to get to that point. And that point is to constantly keep your mind elevated, stimulated, consistent. Because if not, the adage is simple. If you don't use it, you lose it. And sometimes I look back with my mom. There's no place like home. That's what Dorothy said. And that verse from The Wizard of Oz, that is something where the storyteller, the mom told him, put it into the book. And yes, I love my home. I love it. But I grew up the same way. There's no better place than home. No better place. Yes, I'm with it. But that doesn't mean that you have to be stuck within your four walls day in, day out. Walk. Have some friends. Have a podcast. Like Mitch. Mitch's mind is sharp. Why? Because he found an outlet. Butter Bob, same thing. We need to constantly be reading books, bettering ourselves, and challenging our minds. That's why, to me, I read the Bible every morning, right? Does that make me better than you? No, it doesn't. But I'm in constant communication with the Lord. I'm constantly praying. I wake up, I have a conversation with my wife, with my kids. I go out, I work, and at work, I question everything. I'm not one of those in life where, yep, that's how it is, yep. What are you doing to yourself when you stop questioning things? When you're not inquisitive? When you lose the ability to critically think, when you lose that, those are the triggers to dementia and Alzheimer's. That's it. That's the one. When you stop asking questions, when you stop having dialogues with friends, family, a stranger, taking a walk, looking at a tree, and picking up on things. It's March 8th. Huge snowstorm that New York just got hit about a week and a half ago. As I'm walking, I see dried bushes, but at the bottom there's buds. It's almost springtime. I'm noticing those things, and those are the internal conversations that you should be having. Even if it's something simplistic, ask yourself these questions. Have a journal. Question everything. Ask, and ye shall receive. I just got to my mom's house. And yes, even though I have the reverse camera, I'm old school. I like to look back and see what's going on. I don't trust the screen. I don't trust it. I don't trust those things. It's just me. But I think nowadays we have gotten to the point where it's so easy to not even think about these things. It's just handed to you. You have AI at its optimal level. And these things, even though they say that it's to help us, we overindulge. We do it on purpose. They do it on purpose for us to get whirlpooled in to, all right, less thinking. And the less thinking that you do, the higher the chances of Alzheimer's and dementia. That's what happens. Stimulate your mind. Anyway, God bless. Hope all is well. And I'll see you on the next time. Don't forget to, hit the subscribe button. Much love.